What up, YouTube? We back. This is the Nana. I'm Danny.
I'm Nana.
Together we are
the Nana. Yeah.
I'm doing with this girl.
Guys,
Hi guys.
Love it.
Hi guys. We back with another video for you guys. Back with
Yeah.
another reaction. How you
Mhm.
guys doing?
We're good.
I'm not talking to you now. Calm
We
down.
good.
Anyway, we have another reaction videos for you guys. So we're reacting
We good,
to,
aren't we?
We're reacting to Peace Not War. That's the name of the YouTube channel. I'm going to put their link in the description so you can also check other of their YouTube content. Okay. But we're reacting to debates between Jordan Peterson. You guys know who Jordan Peterson is, okay?
Okay.
You don't know anybody. But yeah, he's having a debate back and forth with this BBC journalist. She's female, and they're talking about like the man and female concept, like So we've not seen the video, but we can pretty much expect how it's going to go because of Jordan Peterson and his character, basically. He's one person I actually respect a lot. So anyway, let's dive into the video real quick, okay?
Okay.
Domestic violence, and there's a sort of thesis behind it, and I'm putting it in a bit of a nutshell here, so feel free to rephrase it, that men are, in the end, if men are pushed too far by too aggressive a feminism, there will be a backlash, and that there is, there's a sort of undercurrent of violence, be it verbal.
Oh, that's a warning, that's a warning, not
it's
a
a
commentary
warning
on the
that
utility
kind
of
of
that.
suggests that there may be sort of fault in those who push progressivism too far. They will get a backlash. Some people, of course, see that as a bit of a permissive environment for bad behaviour.
Well, people tend to confuse describing the likelihood of something with supporting the fact that it exists, and I'm describing the likelihood of something, not supporting the fact that it exists. If you push too far on the left, you're going to get a backlash on the right. That's how things work. And this is just a derivation of that as far as I'm concerned.
How does that work in the context of domestic violence?
Oh, I don't think it's applicable in the context of domestic violence at all. I think those things are completely separate issues.
I mean, you were mentioning to me just as we were chatting.
And I was speaking only politically with regards to the backlash. That was a comment on political backlash. It had nothing to do with domestic violence. That's a whole different issue.
But violence often pops up in your work as something you think drives things. That I think you've said in relations between men are regulated by a background threat of force, and in a sense that's why men have difficulty with women. Is that really so?
No, that's why men have difficulty with women who are completely out of control. But
who should control women?
Well, other women themselves, men, society, just like everyone is controlled. I mean, you're controlled by society, I'm controlled by society, and thank God for that. I mean,
funny. I mean, you described yourself as a liberal earlier, and I think a liberal doesn't think that a society controls women or men.
Well, let's say regulates. I'm a psychologist as well.
But what is it out of control women?
I wanted to get to their point.
Okay, should we let them get to their point?
Yes.
Okay.
What is this creature show? How do we know when we met one?
Well, I'm sure that you've met women in your life that acted towards you in a bullying and detestable manner. It's very difficult for women to cope with that because they don't have any real recourse. And female bullying can be unbelievably vicious. And usually it takes the shape of reputation destruction, innuendo, and gossip. It's well documented. It's very difficult to defend. No, men do it too, but men no. But the patterns,
disproportionately women, in your view, or not? Sorry.
Yes, disproportionately women. That's what the data indicate. I mean,
Where is the data on innuendo and gossip?
Well, it's among antisocial behavior among adolescents. It's a well-documented field. So, because people look at aggressive and antisocial behavior in women and in men. And in women, it tends to take the expression of innuendo, gossip, and reputation destruction. And in men, it tends to take the form of outright physical aggression.
Exactly.
There's a whole literature.
Physical aggression is how we get ours out of the way. What's your thoughts so far? On the back and forth?
The back and forth. Sometimes
you can tell she's a feminist, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much as her being a feminist. I feel like she's being unfair.
Okay.
Like she's speaking at certain things. She won't allow him to
point out.
He says something, she's saying another thing. She's trying to tweak what he said.
Yeah.
If you notice, I'm looking at it like that's not what he said.
Exactly. I can hear him clearly.
So that's not. It's not. I don't know what point she's trying to make.
I think she's trying to make, you know how they try to make, if you don't agree with somebody, most times it's like, oh, if you don't agree with me, you're probably this, you know.
Yeah.
That's just like, if you're liberal, you shouldn't think like this. Like, no, I have liberal thoughts on some issues. Two things can be true.
Yeah.
Now you're mad that he used the word control. Is that the problem? Everybody's controlled if you think about it.
We are all controlled.
We are all controlled by something.
And the change is okay. If it's not control, it's regulated.
It's regulated. That's like, now it's like, okay, are we, the choice of word, does it change what the action is? You're still being controlled if you think about it. I mean, taxes, the laws, the constitution itself is to put you in order, to keep you guys in control. You control the environment. In fact, imagine what we'll do without control. Control is how we exist as human beings.
Yeah.
We will be wild if there's no control, if there's no consequences.
And you see, in the place of her say, oh, women, when he said women are controlled.
Yeah.
Women need to be absorbed. I don't
Women
know what
need
to
be controlled. She
doesn't
felt some type of way.
Yeah, but it goes both ways. When you see an out of control
and he said
human
it.
being,
He said men are also controlled.
It goes, but when you see someone that is out of control, either male or female, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not as if I don't feel he's being. I feel like I don't know what she's trying to, or she's just trying to antagonize him. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but I think
allow him to get it to his point.
Usually that's what. So
it
usually, Jordan Peterson gets into all this debate. I've watched a lot of his videos on YouTube. So that he comes across like all these debates, debating like all these psychedelics, debating people who are like professors as well in his field, who are like psychologists. He's a trained psychologist as well. So most of all like his thoughts, his studies that he has done. So in fact, when he even said it, the data is accurate on female, how female use damaged reputation to like a form of consequence for actions that maybe somebody take against them. It's like the gossip, the damage. But that's true.
And it's
I shouldn't to argue that. I'm like,
it's often
bro.
It's often
have you
vicious.
been to Nigeria? Have you seen Nigerian girls? Guy, they will badmouth you. I was in conversation where like they're like a group of girls, right? I don't know. I always find myself in a group of.
He loves girls.
Yeah, it's all good. And then, if you see how they were bashing this girl that they were bashing is a friend of the group. But like there's a section inside the section.
Yeah, there's always a section inside the section. So
if you see how they were badmouthing this guy, I was like, I wasn't close to the other one they were badmouthing, but I was like, bro, like you guys are friends, right? But you can see how that they finished that girl. If I didn't know that girl before, I would think that girl is the most horrible person on earth. With the way they badmouthed her.
Yeah.
That's how they are vicious like that, and women are really vicious. Yeah, yo, if you guys are mad with somebody, man, you guys don't let off.
Oh well.
I've seen it.
Oh well.
You guys don't let off. Okay? Like you guys keep going. You want to make sure I go show this guy or show this person.
I mean,
you guys are vicious with it.
Who much is given, much is expected.
Man, it's crazy. Men would rather fight. That's how we get that our system.
What you said, like you go through.
Yeah, it's like if I'm mad with you, you know. Okay? It's more aggressive.
That's what he's saying now.
It's more aggressive.
We'll see about that.
But I agree with him so far.
It's not a surprise to anyone. This has been known for 30 years. I mean, the rates of antisocial...
I think the idea of the female gossip probably predates 30 years.
Well, it does.
By a long time, but that doesn't... doesn't make it gospel,
but
really,
people
does it?
No, it doesn't. But people have looked at how women express... Look, women have to express aggression somehow, unless you're willing to say that they're not aggressive. Exactly. They tend not to do it physically. Not to the degree men do, so they use other channels. And what other channels are there other than physical aggression if you're going to be aggressive? Well, you go after people verbally. You go after them with innuendo and gossip and reputation destruction. And that's how it works.
And just to be clear, that you think that's predominantly a female modus operandi?
Yes.
It isn't that I think that.
It is.
Well,
it's that the clinical literature indicates that. It isn't that I think it.
Well, I'm not interviewing the clinical literature. I'm interviewing you. What do you think?
Well, I'm a psychologist and a scientist, and I tend to base my opinions on what I've read in the broad, relevant clinical literature. I'm not making this stuff up. I studied antisocial behavior for like 15 years. I'm actually quite an expert on it. And so we know that men are more likely to look at it this way. All right. Women are much more likely to try to commit suicide. And men are much more likely to kill themselves. And the reason for that is that men use lethal force and women don't. Now that's a big difference. Okay, so then you say, well, women manifest aggression towards themselves and to others, but they don't use lethal force. They don't use physical force the same way men do. So they have to do it some other way.
Why do
what
they
are the
have
other
to do
ways?
something some other way? That like,
Because
you can take
people
your
are
Hobbesian
aggressive.
war against, so you're basically a Hobbesian. Life is a
No, I'm
war of
half
all
and
against
half.
all.
Half and half. Half Hobbes, half Rousseau. That's why I'm not an ideologue. Because I don't think that people are good or evil. I think they're both. I don't think that culture is security or tyranny. I think it's both. And I don't think that nature is benevolence or catastrophe. I think it's both. And that's why I'm not an ideologue. And I mean...
And where do you...
Now, she tried to put the whole, Jacques and Thomas Hobbes analogy and tried to put him in a box. Like, she wanted to box him so bad because, Hobbes believed...
I feel like this woman is just being antagonistic. That's just what it is. I don't feel it's so much as a back and forth. I feel
She
like
just
she just
wanted to
the
put
guy is just talking
him-
calmly, and she
just
just like
wanted to put
let him get
him
to where it's going to be and say
somewhere.
another thing. So yeah. So I don't know.
because like Thomas Hobbes was saying, he used to stand, he did stand for that all humans are inherently good.
Yeah.
And then Jacques was like, all humans are inherently bad. So it's like, no, I don't stand for both. I
have
think
this, yeah.
there's sense in any both of them. So it's like,
Where do you stand?
she wants to put him in a
Where
box.
do you stand? In the...
I think we all have good and bad in us inherently.
Yeah, true.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except
we all
me,
do.
I'm good.
And at some good and evil, there's no good without evil. There's no
Yeah.
evil without good.
Yeah.
For you to have something, you have to have the opposite of it.
Yeah.
For that thing to exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she was just trying to box in this whole interview. Like maybe we should just
Yeah.
play a few clips and see what else is on it.
because we've only been working together for about 35 years.
We
40
don't
years.
know. After 35 years, wouldn't it be possible to figure something out?
Not when you're talking about a transformation in behavior that's that profound. I mean, we don't know how men and women can work properly together in the workforce. It's very complicated.
But they
Men
do.
don't know how to compete
millions
with
of men
women.
and women across the world go to
Yeah,
work
but you
together
have
day in, day out.
But you were the one who
So-
asked about Me
You're
Too.
the one
Me
who.
Too
Don't
is
start with you're the one who.
Me Too is Me Too is an expression of the fact that men and women are having a hard time regulating their behavior in the workplace. That's the only reason I responded to that, because the question
I
was
think
posed.
it's more broadly suggesting that some men are having a grave problem with it. What is the lesson of the Harvey Weinstein story for you?
Someone should have said something about Harvey Weinstein much sooner.
But we could start somewhere else. We could start with Harvey Weinstein was wrong to do what he did before we get
Yes,
round
well,
Nobody's
to other
disputing
people
that.
should have spoken out. It's just that's the secondary order issue.
Fair enough. I thought that went without saying. There are going to be psychopathic predators. They're going to exist. And what has to happen is that people have to stop them because they won't stop themselves. And so I thought that was sort of implicit in the statement. Obviously, he shouldn't have done what he did.
But you don't think that the culture in which he was operating, that there was particularly in his
In
world,
Hollywood?
in his world and in many other worlds, that there was a culture of, this guy's a powerful guy, he's the great silverback gorilla here, let him get on with it.
Oh, I think that culture was everywhere in Hollywood, which is why I think
Not
it's
just in
actually
Hollywood?
quite... Well, Hollywood particularly. I mean, the casting couch idea has been around for a very long period of time. And I think that the Hollywood types who are all upset about this should look to their own devices with regards to the role they've played in fostering the culture that managed that. So,
I know, it sounds like the
well,
Hollywood itself, or the
you've gotta
women,
think-
or who?
No,
Who's supposed to
the entire
sort this out?
culture.
Right.
We were talking about culture.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's certainly that the Hollywood...
What's the sensible thing for women to do about Me Too, to your mind, and what's the less sensible thing?
That's a hard question. It isn't obvious to me exactly what men and women have to do in the workplace to make that kind of sexual predation much less likely, with also subjecting themselves to restrictions on the sexual aspect of their existence that would be unbearable. It's very difficult.
What would be unbearable about that?
How about everybody wears the same uniform to work?
I don't think
That's what the Maoists... Well, look, if you want to eliminate the differences between men and women sexually at the workplace, you have to constrain the sexual differences. mean, men wear suits to work.
Well, we
right?
don't have to eliminate the sexual differences for people to work together with respect.
You have to eliminate them to some degree.
Why? I'm
Well,
genuinely
because
puzzled.
the question here is, to what degree should sexually related behavior be impermissible at the workplace? Well, it depends on how you define it. Should you be able to dress attractively? And if you can dress attractively, what do you mean by attractively exactly? Like precisely. I got
Right,
into trouble.
I mean, I hope.
What do you think about that as a woman? I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I don't agree with him saying we should all dress alike to eliminate.
But do you see his point?
This thing. I see his point, but at the same time, even when people dress alike,
She's still gonna happen.
she's still gonna happen
Yeah.
either way. So that's why he's saying he can't exactly say what men and women need to do, because there's no true science. There's no true science to it. You don't know what to do, except maybe, I don't know, maybe they put in restrictions, or women and men decide, women decide, but that's not how the world
Sharia.
works. Exactly.
But
But I don't, for the whole uniform idea, nah.
I'm not mad at him for that idea though.
I'm not mad at him, but
Because
it won't work.
I've seen some nasty dressing in some workplace. I ain't gonna lie. I've seen some people dress really like boobs out, ass out, really short style skirts. It's
Which is why
above,
people
it's
try to-
way above the knee.
Which is why some companies, or let me say, not Hollywood, but some companies, in fact, some Hollywood, being the sense that you have to look a particular way,
Yeah.
is already the problem.
No, Hollywood. Everybody
Right?
knows Hollywood is perfect.
Right? So
Everybody knows that. That's the culture.
then now
there.
to the workplace, which is why now companies are saying don't.
It's hard
wear
to
this-
interact in the
wear this one,
workplace.
wear this
Anybody
one.
like, man,
Yeah.
I don't even do it, man. Like most of like, even with people who I'm like I work with, I try to be very like,
Yeah.
like
Let it
I'm
be,
not.
yeah.
Yes, like I'm not. We're not talking after work. I'm not calling. No, we're not doing that. Like I'm not trying to. I even stay away from compliments. That's how bad it is. Like good morning. I go and sit down. You get what I'm saying? Like we're not friends. Like I don't expect us to have any conversation outside that. If it's work, you need something from me. I need something from you.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what I did from you. I'm out.
Yeah.
We don't have to be friends.
Yeah, but I generally agree with everything he said, because he was right.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
felt like the woman was just trying to box him
Yeah,
the whole
she-
interview.
yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
I feel
Oh,
like
you're a liberal or you're a socialist
Yeah.
or you're a nationalist. Like, bro, come on. The man already explained what it is to you.
yeah.
And he's done studies on this, so why are you antagonizing him?
Oh, well.
You know. And
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it if everybody's wearing a uniform in the office. I think that it doesn't eliminate
doesn't
it, but it
eliminate any
reduces the propensity for men or for that kind of this thing to like
How about we just control ourselves? That's just that.
you
Control
remember earlier in the video we talked about maybe we need control. Humans need control.
Everybody control yourself.
I'm not mad at
Because
anybody wearing a
really, if you look
uniform.
at it, it's not even so far as the system in place, so it's the individual person.
Bro, picture this. Imagine everybody was allowed to dress the way they wanted to dress in secondary school. No uniforms. Think about that. Wild.
But either way,
See, these things are important. It's not all like it's not a straightforward thing. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
it's a straight line. This is what you do. No. But if you want to reduce the probability of that happening,
yeah.
I mean, let's say if everybody was dressing wild and dressing the way they want, and the sexual what they call it, misbehaviors in the office was maybe at 50%, right? So half of people in our workplace were engaging in that activity. If you change that and say let everybody wear uniforms, maybe the attraction, what they call the levels or whatever reduces.
Yeah.
That can drop it to maybe like a 30, 35%. That's still 50% drop. It doesn't eliminate it totally, but
Yeah.
reduces it. You get what I'm going, man. Analogy. So it's like, yeah, like these things are it's not a straight line, but I think it's doable.
Yeah.
It's doable. And in the workplace, man, let's never get into workplace. A lot of nasty things go on there.
Yeah.
Trust me. A lot of nasty things go on there. So Anyway, this has been the video.
Yep.
Put the link in the description. Shout out to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
For another amazing conversation as well. Link in the description. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
We out.
Yep.
Peace.